Sonibda, where are you right now? I mean, it can't be colder than where I am. I'm in Punch right now, and it's rained and it's bloody cold here.
What
And
is
here
that?
you're wearing a jacket and a pullover and God knows what else inside here.
I I am an old man, as you
Here you
called
are
me.
wearing a jacket and a
Not
pullover and
hot,
God knows what else inside here.
not hot-blooded and newly married.
जो भी हो. I mean,
Anyway, we are live now.
Just
If you've
married.
done, if you all have finished doing wardrobe checks and commenting on each other's style quotient, maybe we can get on with the show. Do I have your permission?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Get on.
But I was motivated today because Balu Balasubramaniam said, "Hope and pray it starts on time." So I just want to tell you, your prayers have worked.
I have been
We're on
answered.
time. Although they were discussing fashion, so now you know who's more interested in how they look on
Not just
screen.
fashion,
than,
we were discussing also the just married professor's marital life, okay, which is makes him blush. Oh, yeah,
it's going to be a cozy winter.
conjugal life, or is that a correct? Suhail said is not around to, correct our English.
Oh no! Guess who else is almost on time? Only 1 minute late. Congratulations.
She's the
Only
busiest of the lot.
1 minute late.
yes.
And as usual,
And
like
I don't
my
know
family,
why she posted this in the morning that she doesn't know how to make her bed. Who wants to know whether she makes her bed or
Sandeep,
doesn't make her
you
bed?
have got a dirty mind. Absolutely disgusting.
You are the one who posts this picture early morning that I don't know, stuck in my bed sheet, and then you say I have a dirty mind. Anyway,
I
let's start.
I
Let's
did
start.
I did see that video, and I just want to say that as a hotelier during our training, that was something we had to learn and we got marked on. So I do know how to do that, Pallavi.
Okay, Pallavi, go there for some training, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One-on-one training.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I can do that no one else in this group can, clearly. But let's dive right into it. What do you all want to start with? I think let's start with the Congress election because the result is due tomorrow. And everybody is kind of waiting with big.
Only
Who's that?
only person who's following the Congress election, I don't know why, is Pallavi Ghosh. Other
But
than
that's
that,
my
the world,
job. That's my beat. Even you are following
That's
it.
a job.
You're the closet follower of the Congress party.
no, I don't follow. I trail you. That is a different thing. And by
When someone
default,
is happy to see Dipankar, good to see Stain Ji. I don't know why they have to add that word G to him.
Everybody has a viewer on this channel.
Yes.
What can I say?
Yes.
First, like quick question, one word answer. Who's going to win tomorrow, Kharge or Tharoor? Pallavi,
Karge.
Mr. Ghost.
I don't think it'll be
One
really
word. No
Yes,
caveats.
no.
Who's going to win, Kharge or Tharoor?
Kharge. Or I should one word. I should say Sonia Gandhi.
Yes.
That was two words. Okay,
That is
Sonia.
a smart one, actually, for a change.
That was a really smart one. Miss Professor who?
Kharge, but not Sonia Gandhi.
Why is
Why?
that? Let's
That's a
dive
new
in
one.
with that.
Look. I think the bulk of the people in the Congress, including the G23, who have actually wanted this, this divorce between power and responsibility to end. And I think they've got it. It's Sonia will remain all powerful, no doubt about it. But when it comes to running of the party, I think there'll be somebody who will be there full time. This is, I think, what the G23 wanted, whose relationships with Kharge is very, very good, and they have it. Okay. So to say that Sonia Gandhi has won, okay, we know he is Sonia Gandhi's person, no doubt about it. But what they wanted, some sort of a distancing between the family and the party organization, that I think has happened.
Pallavi, what's your sense?
But there are two things over here. she remains the UPA chairperson. So these negotiations with other political parties will be still done by Sonia Gandhi. So Kharge most probably will just be sitting next to her whenever she meets, say, a Mamata Banerjee or anyone else for that matter. That's one, her power is going to come in a lot from that, and especially in an election going year like 2024. I think that matters more. The second thing is she still remains the president of the Congress Parliamentary Party. Means that inside Parliament, whatever strategy, whatever call has to be taken, whoever wants to come and meet her, her direction to others will still come in from Sonia Gandhi. Whether she's going to break that, because there has been precedents where the president is also the CPP. That's what she was, right? Rahul Gandhi was the president, but she was always the CPP. So
Hmm.
here, will she give up that post and give it to Kharge, because Kharge is also a member of parliament? That is going to be interesting to watch out for. I know this much, that many in the Congress party feel that she should continue as the Congress Parliamentary Party president, and of course as a UPA chairperson. And when I asked them why, they said because she needs to go on as a UPA chairperson, because no one else can talk to other opposition political parties, or the other opposition political parties would not want to speak to anyone other than Sonia. I think that is the biggest admission of the fact that they don't think Kharge or Tharoor, whatever the case may be, is competent to speak to others, and it's only Sonia. So she's always going to be powerful. They can never ever be a Gandhi Parivar Mukt Congress party. At least that's how I see it.
No, I completely agree with that, except for two things. Being the leader of the Congress parliamentary party is no big shakes, because the Congress political party parliamentary party has been decimated to begin with. How many members are there?
True.
So it is not, you cannot see it as a government in waiting as of now. And of course, given the fact that she's the only person in the Congress party who can speak on behalf of the Congress with credibility, she still will negotiate with other peoples of the UPA. But I think what a bulk of people in the Congress wanted was somebody who would give full time to the organization. You know, that I think is the most important outcome of this particular election. And
Hmm.
as he
Hmm.
comes to his own, if he starts, in the unlikely case he is able to revive the organization, he will grow into some sort of part, a power of his own, a power
Why
center of his
does
own.
Dipankar's light always go off? I don't understand
Yeah,
Especially
this.
this is
when
Jammu and
he's talking
Kashmir. Yeah,
about
this is Jammu
reviving
and
the
Kashmir.
Congress.
Load shedding hota rehta hai.
I think this is very ominous. You talk about reviving Congress and the light goes off.
And the lights go out.
Yeah. Yes.
But Sandeep, tell me something. What are you making of, Shashi Tharoor's kind of grumblings over the past week? And they seem to be with merit. It's got to be really hurtful that when you're standing for a position like this, uh, people are so blatantly biased and cold shouldering you. I mean, basically, he's got the cold shoulder from a lot of people.
See, that you must credit Pallavi to have said in the day one, and that's Congress, because as soon as she said Gehlot was rebuffed by Sonia Gandhi when he came to the Congress headquarters, there was nobody even talking to him, and that's been the Congress culture, that immediately you become people think that like so many people, Sonia Gandhi or somebody I recall went on to say, at least for the record, that, oh, we'll not hold it against you if you go and vote for Tharoor, or even go and campaign for him and the rest of it. So that's Congress. But it's very interesting. I think Tharoor has really grown in stature in the last few weeks. Grown in stature in the sense, I'm not saying he has become a major politician to reckon with, or he has, but I think in terms of the public perception and perception within the political world, so far, people would tease him as a shampoo boy and this and that for his dress and for his other lifestyle issues. So to that extent, now I think people will start taking him more seriously. And what I'm looking at, with interest for tomorrow's results is,
Mm.
as we said, it's a no-brainer, or that Kharge is going to win. But like somebody told me, somebody knowledgeable from Tamil Nadu, they're expecting about 25% of the votes to go in favor of Tharoor in Tamil Nadu. Okay,
Mm.
Congress doesn't have a presence in Tamil Nadu, but even if it's not 25, I would say even 10 or 15 would, yeah, send out a signal that it's no longer everybody doesn't endorse. And so if that
Kerala
kind of a
also.
fact,
Kerala is
if
also
that's
sharply divided.
so
Oh,
if those sort of some degree of
What is
dissent
that?
comes in, uh, Haji, Pallavi said something.
now,
No, no.
Yeah.
Someone is commenting
louder
on me
voice.
not being in a car. Louder voice.
Tell them you're not. You've been. I think you've been lent one of those wagons from the Congress Party, na, for this purpose, because there
That's
was
an
so much complaint of
insinuation,
you.
unsubstantiated. You are open to defamation time sake,
Oh,
Sandeep. Because मैंने आपका नमक खाया है, मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगी और कुछ नहीं करूंगी.
oh my God.
Oh,
This is
oh,
becoming
namak
very
khaya hai.
defamatory anyway. I mean, feel free to you. I just want to state that
He
I
gave
have
me
no legal.
dinner.
This is between Pallavi and Mr. Bose.
Yeah, इसने dinner खिलाया मुझे यहाँ, so I had to kind of.
My eye is watering. Go ahead, guys, please.
Okay, so now, therefore, Tharoor has, I think, grown in stature in the kind of statements he made. The fact that he had the courage to say the entire establishment was against him, and the points he is making, all those points resonate with people in terms of what Congress wants to do. So I think he has emerged as a voice in his own rights. Where it'll lead him, whether after these elections he's shunned or people try to more for effect, try to show that no, you're still one of us. So the rest of it, I don't know how that'll pan out. What kind of drama will happen
You know,
later?
Sandeep, Jitendra Prasad won by around 10. I mean, he lost by around 10. I mean, he polled 10% votes. I mean, there is also a sattabazi which is going on in the Congress party. Kitna
Oh
percentage
wow.
Tharoor is going to lose? Yeah, really. So
Are
the
they
last
betting
I
money,
spoke
like
to,
real money?
money, money to nahi, but they are betting khana, vana, ye, wo, and I don't know, maybe money also. They are that obviously they're not going to tell me, but 3 to 4% is what they're giving to Tharoor. But you know, if I just spoke to some people and like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, as Sandeep is pointing out, and Tamil Nadu over here, I would give a little bit of credit to Karti because Karti has his campaign manager. And one of the best, campaigns or rather response which Tharoor got down south and all over actually, all over the country was actually in Tamil Nadu because Karti was micromanaging in the entire thing. In fact, that's another story about who are the people who micromanage. He actually worked like a corporate. He had a team of young boys and girls who did their research, what kind of topic to take up, how do you interact, the kind of people you meet. So he's got a very good response in Tamil Nadu to which Karti can be given credit to. And of course, in Kerala, there's a sharp divide. It's not that the entire Kerala Congress is against Shashi Tharoor, despite the fact that initially they began by saying they don't want him as a president. So it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to also have a bearing on his election. It's going to be the fourth time round if he gets the ticket from Thiruvananthapuram. And anti-incumbency is strong. BJP is inching in because it's an urban constituency as well. That could have an impact on Shashi Tharoor. Sometimes when you lose, you also win. I would want to see Shashi Tharoor's candidature as that. And if the Congress party really has any sense, he should be a part of Kharge's team for 2024, campaign management, elections, how to conduct elections. There's an approach which also needs to be taken up, and Tharoor would have appealed to younger people a lot. And he doesn't use sunscreen, by the way, Sandeep. Since you're so interested in Rahul Gandhi's sunscreen, he also doesn't use
No,
sunscreen
I'm
like
more
Rahul
interested.
Gandhi.
Why didn't somebody ask Rahul Gandhi
I saw
whether
your
he,
tweet.
yeah, no, whether he uses a
I missed
deo or
this.
not? Whether he
So
uses a
yesterday,
deo.
Advaita, the Bharat
No,
Jodo
he
Yatra
was
comes up
talking
with these
about your sweating
interesting
and all that.
videos.
That's why you don't need
No, no, no. So,
sunscreen.
Bharat Jodo
So therefore,
Yatra comes up
somebody
with
should
his
have asked him whether he
interior.
uses at least a deo.
No, no.
Why don't you
Wait,
go
what
and
is this?
smell him, Sandeep? So,
Sandeep will never get that close, yeah, to Rahul Gandhi.
Are you
No,
don't know this man, okay?
Where's she gone? But what was the sunscreen? I missed that. Sorry. What was the
they're
sunscreen?
trying to show that how familiar he is, how
Because you
approachable, and
tan so
so
much.
he was chatting with all these young kids, and somebody said, "Acha, do you use sunscreen? You're running so much in the sun." Then he lifted his,
Yeah,
t-shirt
sleeves and showed
arm
it.
and
Look, I'm
showed,
tan.
"I
And if
look
my
at
mother
that
sends me
tan."
sunscreen, I don't use it.
All that.
Sandeep is
So he,
jealous.
and then he said this thing
He
about
should.
sweating, how sweat helps to keep the sun away. So that's why I was talking of deo. whether there is any connection. It was only from my FMCG days because I was worried. What I tweeted is Hindustan Lever, L'Oreal, and others should be worried their sunscreen sales will drop now that he says sunscreen is not required. So I was thinking whether they can compensate through Dio.
Yeah.
He's not had a haircut, by the way, if you notice. Everyone like him, his Alankar and all his buddies, all of them are not even shaving. They're going to shave the day Rahul Gandhi decides to shave. So let's see when that happens.
Now you guys,
And he
when Modi
does.
didn't shave,
Then you got
you
after
said
Modi. Yeah.
speculated, got after Modi so much of this thing. Modi is trying to look like Tagore today, tomorrow he's like Periyar and all those sort of issues. Now Rahul Gandhi,
But
none of
where
you are
have I
saying why.
praised Rahul Gandhi's beard? Where have I raised Rahul Gandhi's beard? I'm just
No,
giving
you
you
people think it's
facts.
very macho and rest
What
of it,
do you mean about you people? What is you
all
people,
your
Media.
fan
Sandeep?
club.
No, I
I'm
thought
not fan club.
there was a hint of admiration when you said, look, because Rahul Gandhi isn't shaving, his followers aren't shaving as well. So
At
there was a
least the
hint
No,
of
male
no,
followers,
admiration in
it's
that.
restricted to male
More
No,
followers,
than a
it's
that's
hint of
fine.
no, that's not
admiration.
true. That is not
Because he's
true.
not
What I'm
taking a
saying
bath, the
is
others are not
that
taking
I
a
am
bath and all
saying
that sort of a thing.
even in the no, no, what I'm saying is on a serious note, in the Bharat Jodo Yatra, you know what happens? You have to ape the king. So that's what's
Yeah.
exactly happening. I can show you at least 5 people, just give photographs I saw today on Twitter. All 5 of them have tried to look like Rahul Gandhi. And I know
Yeah.
these people personally because otherwise, wo pehante kurta pajama hai. I'm suddenly seeing them wearing these t-shirts and those track pants like the way he wears and growing the beard. मैं कह रही
Yeah.
हूँ दिस इज द साइकोफेंसी ऑफ द कांग्रेस पार्टी कि हमें राहुल जैसा बनना नहीं बन सकते राहुल जैसा दिखना है राहुल भैया जैसा दिखना है.
You see this,
You always
speaking
miss
of
the message.
psychopathy, there was a Rajasthan leader who said that,
Seriously, yeah.
I mean, a shocking, yeah. He said
Even
Rahul
Nana
Gandhi,
Patole said this.
that
कि
Rahul
Rahul
Gandhi is
Gandhi,
walking more than Sri Ram.
yeah, and Nana Patole said कि राहुल गांधी में भी आर है और राम में भी आर था.
Chalo ji.
किस
Okay.
किस में आ रहे
Shri Ram
थे?
means which Shri Ram? Lala Shri Ram or Shri Ram or Vadhya? Which one?
Haldiram. What is that? You're the Haldiram mood.
नहीं,
Okay.
भाई 3x
Moving
Ram.
on.
3x
Speaking,
Ram is what punch he must be having. Huh? Onbong Ram.
Oh,
moving on to
Ram.
grandeurs, delusions of grandeur. Uh, People are basically, comparing themselves to or being compared to Sri Ram, Mahatma Gandhi, Bhagat Singh, which brings us to
Yes.
our next point of discussion. So let's dive again right into it. What's happening? I thought Sisodia put up quite a show yesterday on his way to the CBI headquarters. It's definitely unique. It's not like it's not happened before because even Sanjay Raut went very triumphantly, and we haven't seen him since. But Mr. Sisodia did get out of CBI interrogation or questioning, and then went on and today is landed in Gujarat and is carrying on with his election activities, which was something that the AAP was saying yesterday that they don't want him to be campaign in Gujarat. Well, that's clearly not the case because he is campaigning in Gujarat right now, so there's no such plan afoot.
Yeah,
But
I saw you yesterday you did a Pallavi on Sisodia, like Pallavi does on Rahul. You did that act right in the morning. You said Sisodia is putting up such a show.
he
Kejriwal should be
is.
worried.
But I don't blame him for putting up a show because I guess that's what the netas want to do. I mean, after all, the Congress also tried to do that. But it was very irritating after a point of time because it was very clear he wanted to be arrested, and that didn't happen. And the second thing is that he coming out. He coming out. So seriously, Advaita, I'm telling you, even when the ED investigations were going on, I have 5 Congress leaders. मजा आ जाएगा, madam, अगर आज Rahul Gandhi arrest होते हैं, because they think that this is how evokes a sympathy. And BJP
Yeah.
is not a fool, and CBI doesn't do. But the best part is when he comes out and he says, कि इन्होंने मुझे बोला कि you should join the BJP, will make you the CM. Everything is videographed. Everything is recorded inside. If CBI decides to leak it out and call the bluff, there's a point to which you can also try and fool people and tell lies. My point is that. And आज वो गुजरात में
That
बैठा
people
हुआ है.
won't buy. CBI also, he knows that won't be able to, leak it because then they have to leak the entire tape. Otherwise, they say, जो दिखा रहा है उस time में नहीं पूछा, उससे पहले पूछा, बाद में पूछा. So that is, nobody can really challenge these sort of thing. But what shows that, but his credibility quotient has come down. Everybody is making fun of this. Nobody is taking that in any way seriously, because they have been saying this all the time, doing these confidence votes. And I think they have to now change their script. They're overplaying this particular card. And I was also very impressed, Pallavi, like you, hearing the press conference of Sandeep Dixit, not because he's a namesake, though he said essentially the same thing as what Sambit Patra and everybody is saying, but he put it very succinctly and in a manner which
But
I
I'm
communicates.
glad that the Congress is using him now, because see, he's worked it up in the sense that he's worked with Arvind Kejriwal, so he understands the working. He himself runs an NGO, and I remember in the Punjab elections, in the fag end, when the Congress started realizing that the AAP is actually going to be winning, they unleashed Sandeep Dixit at that point of time. But I think it was just too late, and that's exactly what they are doing now. I think it's a very smart move. He speaks well Hindi, English. He speaks well. So I think it's a good
So,
move that they are using him for this. And if you're talking about Delhi, who better than his mother? So I guess that's the.
no, but only thing where he there's a contradiction. He's blaming AAP for the same thing which Congress did. He said, "Why are they making such a big deal?" And he's trying to give ED and CBI a clean chit, saying they are a premier investigating agency. They should be allowed to do their job. Blah blah. The same arguments would have held for Congress. You don't. When Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi gets interrogated for AJL or National Herald, then you say no, it's all vendetta, and that time they become
Look, I
Gandhi and
mean, look.
Satyagraha.
In
Huh?
politics, consistency is the virtue of an ass. So when the investigative agencies are investigating you, so Adhir Chaudhary will tell, look, Mamata is in serious trouble. When it's investigating Rahul Gandhi, something else happens.
No,
That
we
is something
understand
that we
that.
know.
Yeah, we understand that, but next time this would be also quoted against Congress when they try to make a big deal out of it. But that's minor aside. But I think this particular thing. The question I would ask you, Advaita, and you should ask all your people: where do we see if Congress and BJP are working in tandem against the AAP? Does this put up into a spot in Delhi? And if this continues, it seems both of them are equally worried about AAP, at least in Delhi, if not as much in Gujarat. And what do you see there as a longer term outcome?
Professor Sengupta, one question for you. If you look at Kejriwal's trajectory, whoever he's sort of worked with or leaned on at some point in his career, he's dumped along the way. And he's done it very skillfully. It started with the Anna Hazare movement, where Anna Hazare was dumped. Then Prashant Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav followed. Then subsequently, Kumar Vishwas is disenchanted. Now but Kejriwal and Sisodia managed to make a go of it. They became the duo who basically ran the party. Now, through this whole posturing and everything, as of now, it seems to have Kejriwal's backing. Going forward, do you think that this investigation, because the agency seems to have something in hand, because that's why they're diving into it so deep. Do you think there's a breakup coming in the future, or they're going to see it till the end together?
First, let us talk about this dumping bit. We have to be honest. I mean, Arvind Kejriwal was always political and he wanted to go a certain route. Anna Hazare may not have or may not have been able to do so. So when Anna Hazare and we said he dumped Anna Hazare, no, their paths diverged. He took a particular political path, good for him, and he prevailed. As for dumping people like Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan, look, let's face it. There are some people who, because they're articulate or star luminaries in the bar, etc., think just because they are very smart and articulate, their views shall prevail in the party. It doesn't work out that way. At the end of the day, Arvind Kejriwal has to manage a party, he has to win elections. And he came to the conclusion by listening to these people, he was not going to win elections. And that conclusion was absolutely correct. If indeed he had dumped these people, it's not as if these people had a massive mass base. They never had a mass base. The entire thing was inherited by Kejriwal, And in a sense, he's run a government for quite a number of years now, and that gives him some credibility. Now, a guy like Sisodia has been his strategist and stood by him through thick and thin. And it is also true that the investigative agencies have something, they have something in their teeth. We don't, I mean, and I think Kejriwal is not going to, Sisodia and Kejriwal will not escape from this very easily. CBI is biding its time. It's waiting for certain political events to occur, namely the elections, after which I think they will move. Before the elections, they're not going to do anything, but I think already the duo are compromised, if not in Delhi, certainly in the other states, they're compromised. Not in Punjab yet, other states are compromised. And I think, whatever happens will happen after these elections are over.
Okay.
Now,
Pallavi,
one point.
Yeah.
Very astute observation. Yeah.
See, when it comes to Congress and the BJP acting in tandem where the AAP is concerned, there's a difference. The BJP and AAP are fighting each other for a power. The AAP and Congress are fighting for the same constituency. Remember, AAP actually displaced Congress. It is the Congress vote that they took plus the floating vote. When it comes to assembly elections, AAP has got the floating vote during the assembly elections. The BJP has got the floating vote during the Lok Sabha elections. So, how AAP is tackled by the BJP is very different from the way AAP is tackled by the Congress. From time to time, yes, there will be some sort of a cooperation, not tacit, between the Congress and the BJP to tackle AAP. But they have to tackle AAP in their own different ways. They cannot come together to tackle AAP.
Pallavi, do you think there's a tacit kind of understanding between the BJP and the Congress when it comes to taking AAP on?
If you remember the Prime Minister recently when he was campaigning in Gujarat, he said that, the Congress party is चुपचाप करके campaign और प्रचार कर रही है इसलिए उनसे डर के रहना. And the thing which went out was that the Prime Minister is doing what the Congress actually should be doing, and that is campaigning for the Congress party. I don't think the BJP would want the Congress to do badly in any state. I mean, they do understand, and this is something we've spoken about, and I know people keep on calling up the B team of the BJP, but I think it's a monster which has been created, if you want to believe that argument, which is something which the BJP understands is so much like them. They are 24/7 politicians playing to the gallery. And look at the day when Manish Sisodia was being questioned by the CBI. I counted it till his questioning began. He had done 3 press conferences. I mean, the AAP had done 3 press conferences. Yesterday also they did 3 to 4 press conferences. So they're always alive and kicking, which is like the BJP. All the time in the news, you cannot ignore them. I think the BJP would want the Congress party to actually do something. And every time the BJP attacks Congress, it's not that they are scared of Rahul Gandhi or of the Congress party. It's just that they want the Congress to fight back, because they feel if the Congress doesn't fight back, then these other parties will start, raising their head and they'll start doing well. And they are till now very unknown territory. And the second thing is that Congress is a very lazy party. Ek chunav jeet gaya, for 5 years they'll sit pretty. Or even if they don't win elections, then they go on a holiday mode, so that kind of stuff. Congress is, you have to enter the AICC headquarters these days. It's so listless after the elections happening. The Himachal Pradesh election dates have been announced. By now, you would see ticket seekers going mad asking for tickets. I don't see that happening. Tomorrow, maybe there'll be some tamasha because if Kharge becomes this president or whatever. But apart from that, I don't see anything happening.
Because there's more passion to revive Rahul Gandhi than the Congress really.
Yeah, absolutely. All the energies in Bharat Jodo Yatra all the time. Kal uska press conference bhi hai.
One thing,
press conference, yeah.
Our image of AAP is colored by AAP of Delhi, Kejriwal. When I look at AAP in Punjab, I don't get the same feeling of it being a 24/7 party wanting to win elections. As of now, AAP in Punjab seems to be confused, and that's a dangerous portent for Punjab itself and the rest of the country. So when I look at AAP Delhi, I don't see the same animal that I see when I see at AAP Punjab. They are two different AAPs. So a homogeneous view of AAP, I think, is possibly ill advised.
Hmm.
Again, very
Well,
perceptive and astute. What do you say about them? No, it's true. I'll just say one thing, Advaita, taking on your earlier point. Prashant Kishore, Yogendra Yadav, these are very parasitic in nature. They don't have anything. So, therefore, as you saw, Yogendra Yadav now tried to pile on and
hmm.
piggyback on Bharat Jodo Yatra also. And some point in time, somebody must have told him off. That's why he went up from there and now doesn't.
Yeah, he's
I'm sure.
vanished from Bharat Jodo, no?
Yeah, I think people like Jairam Ramesh and all are too clever to understand that he was just trying to take a share of the limelight, and they've asked him to buzz off. So Arvind Kejriwal, as he says, he understands very clearly who are basically riding piggyback on him and who can contribute. So that's why all these people who were initially maybe he needed for some articulate speaking, he's got rid of them systematically. Now the question comes to our friend Manish Sisodia, which you were asking. I think they are too far joined, too closely joined at the hips. They know too much of each other. And,
Hmm.
so therefore, Arvind Kejriwal will not try to immediately dump a Sisodia. There is a high degree of dependence. But if
Hmm.
Sisodia feels that he could become, coming to a crunch, he could be the sacrificial goat, then Sisodia is going to hit back. And Kejriwal also understands that. So I don't think it'll happen, unless it's really what we are saying about CBI and others, if they really come up with some, very solid evidence or something where Arvind Kejriwal to get out, he has to make somebody a scapegoat. Only then he will do it, not otherwise. Till the
Hmm.
last call comes.
Yeah.
That's my view.
Pallavi, just very quickly, within the app, how the two of them viewed is one, are they both considered power centers competing with each other or in coordination with each other? Is one considered more likable, more charismatic? What is the equation there?
I think the charisma still will move with Arvind Kejriwal. I mean, but look at the kind of, for want of any other word, the kind of body language. I think Manish Sisodia makes that effort to, walk one step behind Arvind Kejriwal. And Arvind Kejriwal is coming across as, the mentor of Manish Sisodia. Yesterday, he talks about him being a Bhagat Singh. I know there were lots of people on the social media timeline, including I think Sandeep was also tweeting about the fact that, oh, here he's calling himself Mahatma Gandhi, Manish Sisodia, and there he's calling him Bhagat Singh. So is Sisodia putting Arvind Kejriwal in place? I think for now, Manish Sisodia knows his place. And it's very clear Arvind Kejriwal has national ambitions, and Sisodia is always going to be his Lakshman or the person behind him. But I think Sisodia also deliberately tries to maintain the thing about one step behind Arvind Kejriwal. Let him do the talking, let him be the main focus. He's not a fool, he understands that in politics, ये सब चीज करना पड़ता है. You should not appear as a threat. And everyone knows that Arvind Kejriwal is megalomaniac. He likes it. He has an ego, and why not? I guess, I mean, after all, he would, most politicians do. And and he panders to that, and he knows he's going to have his own time. I mean, if you listen to gossip, and if it's true that if Arvind Kejriwal, for example, wins and becomes, say, the CM of Gujarat, if he really want to get into a hypothetical thing, then who's stopping Manish Sisodia from becoming the chief minister of Delhi? But
Right.
CM
he
of
always wants to be,
CM of
yeah, he's going
Delhi,
to be the
CM of
Hanuman of.
Punjab, CM of Gujarat. I mean, come on, yaar, CM of Uttarakhand,
Punjab से नहीं
CM
हुआ.
of Goa.
Raghav,
You know,
But
Speaking about
the
fellow
charisma,
travelers. Yeah. Go ahead.
what you
Go
are
ahead,
asking,
sir.
Advaita, speaking of the charisma bit, what I've seen among Delhi voters, while everybody has their little bit to say about Arvind Kejriwal, from about him, even I've seen people who are non-elite voters who will have something or the other to comment about Arvind Kejriwal. This guy kind of comes across as the nice man in the whole show.
Hmm.
So, he will
Yeah.
go to societies, take part in some festival, talk to them like one of them. So, people, when they relate to him, Arvind Kejriwal, people always have this reservation. that he's too clever by half, or people don't take him at face value. But this guy comes across little more genuinely. If you see his body language, even in the pictures when he's in the school or where else,
Hmm.
he communicates something better, and that is where I think he has an edge. But at the moment, it's a good duo between
That's
them.
very true. He does have a likable persona. He does. If you go just by the way he presents, it's certainly likable. Moving on. Speaking about fellow travelers, interesting what's been going on between The Wire and Meta, and a lot of the criticism has come from people who would be fellow travelers of The Wire, who have kind of really shred the confusing details, the tech details of the entire fracas. So, who wants to get into it? And Professor, do you want to tell us a little bit about just what's going down?
Look, uh, the technical details I'm not going to get into. I'm not very comfortable with them. But again, I'm not surprised. Look, the Wire and these supposed fact checkers, who were supposed to be fellow travelers of the Wire, actually try to get custom clientele patronage from the same tech giants which
Hmm.
Wire tried to finger as being cause of their current embarrassment. So the
Yeah.
fact checkers know that if they join hands with Wire on this one, their patronage will get clipped, and therefore they have decided to play the safe game, the technical game, by saying, "Look, Wire is not right. We will basically go with Meta." I am not surprised by this outcome at all. I'm not surprised by the outcome at all. It is a spat between fellow travelers. One that has a lot of money, the other which wants money, and the other guys who all want money are not taking the side of Wire, understandably so.
Hmm. And what does this do for Wire's credibility? What do you think of
Wire
that?
never had credibility. Look, Wire preaches to the converted. When it comes to the converted, Wire always had credibility, except, of course, given the fact that among the converted there is a dispute, Wire will have a problem. But then Wire is a brazen, like Caravan India, Wire is a brazen outfit anyway. The amount of
Hmm.
self righteousness they exude is tremendous. They appeal to a particular crowd, that crowd will stay with Wire. Now, will it affect their funding or not? That's another matter altogether. Okay, I suspect funding may become slightly tighter, but not for long.
Yeah, yeah. Sandeep, what do you make of this kind of fallout, this very public fallout?
See, public fallout, you'll see a similar fallout had happened also for Rana Ayub. If you recall that some of her fellow travelers had kind of dumped her initially when the ED thing happened. When people, they get too hot to hold, some of these people also their self-preservation instinct makes them pull back. And again, in the case of Wire, I don't know whether there is more to come, and I don't know why did Wire go out of the way to take on Amit Malviya so directly, and indirectly, therefore, through Amit Malviya, take on Meta. And some of the statements they're making are, I would say, totally unethical. To say somebody was in a personal relationship with an insider in Meta and therefore got information to say that in their public statement.
Oh my
I
God.
think that
No,
I haven't read that. Have you been
I
named?
think I know. I think I know
no,
who they
Wire,
made the
but who
statement.
were they talking about, Sandeep? Who were they
Yeah.
talking about when they talked about a
I
personal
don't know
relationship? Because
about
that's not the
that.
Wire statement. I
What
Wire
did
don't
they
said
say?
know.
very
That was
clearly
Just one thing.
they said we've
I
had
think
professional and personal, but I think it was most unfair to even write
one
that in that
person had
statement.
not and personal. They said one person had a personal relationship.
I think it's
We
very
don't want to now get
unfair.
into
One person,
speculation.
meaning one of their people or
No,
someone
no.
else?
Someone
that's
One
from
right.
of the
Wire.
Wire
Oh,
person had a personal relationship with somebody inside Meta.
But I think these statements, unfortunate as they are, sad as they are, were probably to prevent lawsuit. You make a charge against a particular person, you are actually opening yourself to very serious lawsuits. Whether Amit Walvia is minded to do so or not is another matter altogether. Having discovered that they had basically goofed up, I think they came up with these statements, possibly on legal advice, who knows, in order to ensure that if a case takes place, they will be able to basically, finger somebody else for this. I cannot think of
But
any other reason to make for the wire to make these statements.
But there are two things which are also happening here, Dipankar. I mean, one, of
Yeah,
course, is dragging, the person. And I think that lawsuit is any case going to happen. I think Meta has taken it very, very seriously. And it's got nothing to do with, Amit Walmia only or the government is forcing it. They've decided. They play a ball game completely different. But the second thing, and I wish Abhijit was here today because Abhijit was explaining this to me also that day. He also noticed that, for example, alt news, that is Mohammad Zubair and Pratik Sinha, even they seem to be taking now a stand which is not in favor of this wire and Meta thing. Because what
I've
Abhijit was
explained that.
explaining to me is, yeah,
I've explained
okay,
that
I'm going to go now because I have to go for a
you had
Diwali
basically exited
party.
from thing. Hmm. You had exited.
Acha, I have to go for a Diwali party, so I'm going to excuse myself
Oh
very quickly. I'm
dear.
just saying, yeah.
Diwali party.
This is a Delhi
I'll,
thing.
Acha,
what is
acha,
so
acha.
Delhi? You're a poor, old, not so
It's a very
retired,
Delhi thing. Yeah.
grumpy man.
No, no, but we
So,
don't go
yeah,
in for this Diwali parties and all that dressed up. And
I'm not dressed
Are
up.
you going to
anyway,
play cards? Is that why you were tracking the Sunday
Um,
Saptebazi and all that?
I'll just go and give a gift, I'll eat and hobnob, and then I'll come away. So
And
I
she's not going
think
to tell
there's
us
a
where she's
divide.
going. By the way, even Abhijit was going to a party. Are you guys in the same party?
Oh, I'm going to ask him. Is he? Acha, I'll ask him.
Yeah,
By
he
the
said I'm going
way,
to.
before I, so there is this whole left gang also, which is turning out against Facebook over there. I mean, the left is also very angry with the left abroad. They are also a
Oh,
little upset with Wire and even with alt news. And Dipankar will take over and explain it because this is what Abhijit was explaining to me with complete data and all. So these are very interesting times, and I think the government doesn't have to do anything because you don't mess around with Meta. And I think the Wire's understanding that their credibility is going to be over in this.
hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Also, before I go, and a happy Diwali to all of you, I guess we'll meet before that. Also, Advaita, I have to tell you that one sneak peek what Abhijit and I had planned for the next Sunday club was that I'm going to go to his house. He's going to make kosha mangshu and luchi for me, and we both will be in the same frame and do Sunday club with him.
So why are you telling us? You should have just done it, no?
but now it won't
But the
happen.
Sunday club,
Like she's
Horror
ruined
of
the surprise.
horrors.
This is like the Congress election, yeah. There's no surprise. We all know what's going to happen
no, no,
Sunday.
no, there may still be a surprise. So you wait and
Oh,
watch.
you think there may be? Okay.
Okay.
What?
Okay, so
You and
I'm going to go.
Abhijit?
I'm not telling. But okay, I have to go off then because I have to go very far. And thank you so much, Advaita. Bye. See you. Bye, Dipankar. Get the light back and give your gyan.
Yeah, light is back.
What
Lights
is
come
And
back
it?
already. Yeah.
and
What is
Sandeep,
it?
I know what you're up to. So
What am I up to here? Nothing at all. I'm
Basically, she's
leading a
having
very
more fun
sedate.
here than she will at the party, so she's delaying her exit. And she said
okay,
by like 5 minutes ago. Then she's all,
okay. Bye,
But
guys.
you didn't.
Bye,
But
bye.
you didn't give us any insider scoop before you go. You should give us some scoop of asides which is happening in Congress headquarters or in other places where you
oh,
spend
some
most of
latte
your
Nothing
day,
inside. No, I'm telling you, na.
or what
They are
happens in
the
Khan Market.
Yeah.
Khan market. Anyway, let's see. Okay, guys. See you.
But
Bye.
tell us something. No,
No,
Tell
Diwali
us
no, not
which
special.
today.
gupshup
Tomorrow.
before you go. One nugget.
Tomorrow. अच्छा मैं जिस party में जा रही हूँ ना, I'll get a lot of gupshup, so we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice. Done.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we have to
Bye.
meet tomorrow once the
Yes.
election results are out.
Yeah. Done. We'll do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, all the best. Enjoy.
Okay, and then the final thing that we need to talk about very quickly is, of course, this Wall Street Journal ad that came out uh, by this economic offender who's basically running from the Indian authorities. And I had a long conversation with Kanchanda also on it, who was completely like ripped it apart, rightly so, saying that how did the Wall Street Journal not check the antecedents of this person who was releasing this ad, and went ahead and let him release that ad, which essentially you know, basically was telling people don't invest in India because I don't like the government. And the
Do
interesting thing
you?
is that this guy is this economic offender really got into his deal, got out of his deal. All of this went on during the UPA time. So it's not even like the BJP government is just following through on the prosecution and all the other things that were meant to take place. So,
Yeah, but
Professor,
the
let's start with you.
more interesting coincidence is just 4 days before the ad came out, there is a very eminent gentleman who said that there ought to be a list like that
Magnitsky.
for India. I don't know whether you saw the tweet, and this
No, the
Tunku.
Dada
eminent
mentioned it. Yeah.
Tunku
and
Vardarajan,
this eminent the brother of an eminent journalist or
the
Of the
eminent
previous
wire.
discussion,
Wire,
the
actually, the
discussion, yes.
previous.
Yeah.
He tweeted, and the tweet was very telling that why India needs a list like that. And then 4 days down the line comes out this ad. So, there is a lot of things when people talk about these conspiracies, etc. People say that, these are just figment of people's fancy. They're just trying to, create this kind of sense of conspiracy doesn't exist against India or the Modi government. But it is very apparent. And, usually you'll find everywhere it is the usual suspects who turn up. I don't want to
Mm.
name a particular symposium or conference which happened last week with a senior journalist flying from here, and you see who are the other participants. No prizes for guessing who are the people who were there. Okay, and so that sort of a thing is active and is very much there, whether people are for it or against it, but that's the fact of life.
My take on this is basically let us face this and move on. I agree. I won't use the word conspiracy. There's a certain level of coordination, no doubt about it. So many things happen. First, talked of Tunku Varadarajan's tweet. That they should be the United States on its own should do certain things. A. Then you have the German foreign minister coming to Pakistan and saying certain things, preceded by the American ambassador going to Pak occupied Kashmir and calling it, Azad Kashmir and so on and so forth. And then you have this. Look, certain things are happening. I mean, you could say it's the West playing good cop, bad cop with India, etc., on certain
Mm.
points where we do not agree with the West, especially on Russia, although I think we've been telling of Russia from time to time also. The fact is, this good cop, bad cop thing will happen. You have to confront this, hammer away, and move on. For example, you have the various indices, where Turkey is
Yeah.
placed above India when it comes to freedom of press, etc. How ridiculous can you be? How ridiculous can you be? Turkey is one nation which in modern times has aided and abetted ethnic cleansing genocide. And yet it continues to be part of the NATO. And in spite of all this dissonance, it's still,
Mm.
part of the West. The West has a pretty comfortable relationship with Turkey. There may be points of disagreement, but Erdogan is still well received in the Western capitals. This
Mm.
is
Mm.
something that we have to recognize. We will never be part of the core West, the core democracies. So, as the West likes to claim themselves to be, we need not be part of it. We have to be what we want to be. You have to confront these particular problems and give back as good as you get. I think
The
when it
West
comes,
has always been opportunistic.
very
That
much so.
famous B word which was used by Eisenhower or Johnson, that as long as
Yeah.
he's our B, we don't
Yes. You know,
care.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was always there. But what you are saying, this sort of, Tunku Varadarajan has a goal to say that in the least these people should be denied US visa. Now, who are you to advise, whether these people should be? And that brings the visa point. Advaita, I don't know whether again people are imagining stories that why should
Yes.
Indians today have a
Yeah.
2 year wait for a visa when the
Mm.
Chinese are getting it in 3 days? And so there, or the fact that there is no US ambassador in India for nearly 2 years now, are these also signals? But at the same time, what you're saying, Dipankar, if you see what Jaishankar goes on speaking on foreign shows, I think they are trying to also give it back as good as they get to a large extent. I don't know how it's being received or where it'll land us.
This who's giving back? I mean, it's not as if we basically started this particular thing. You know, during the Ukraine conflict, they expected us to basically have nothing to do with Russia when these characters were buying all the Russian gas and all the Russian oil, and they expected us basically not to do this. So when Jaishankar puts forward India's views against extremely unrealistic expectations of India, then people say, okay, it's the West hitting back. This, I know, we cannot take that particular view. There is a particular view that we have, a stance that we have that comes out of self-interest. We are doing this. The problem is also, I think, there's some sort of a policy incoherence in the West itself. The Americans also don't have their entire act together. They don't have their entire act together. There are contradictions in their act. You know, one statement that Galbraith used to make about American politicians is basically never ascribe to malice what can be ascribed to stupidity. To that extent, I think this all-knowing American state acting coherently in one direction is something I think we have to basically take that with a pinch of salt. It's
You know,
quite
I
possible that different people are acting differently. We are being
you know,
affected, no doubt about it.
like it's like Biden saying that Pakistan is a really dangerous country, and yet you make sales of F-16s to them. I mean, come on, are we not supposed to notice this? And I found it interesting because a journalist asked the White House spokesperson, I don't know if you saw that clip, wherein exactly like something along these lines, saying that this is what Biden said, and the White House press secretary was completely didn't answer, said that we've already dealt with this, and we've already spoken of this, and then she quickly moved on from the question. But now their duplicity is being pointed out to them in their face, and they have no answer.
No, on Pakistan, I understand. Look, Pakistan used to be America's pimp. It now has become
Back in
the
back in
Chinese
the
pimp.
day,
Okay, now the question is, so this pimp has everybody's secrets, and this pimp can be extremely troublesome. So they are basically to win the pimp over. I can understand when it comes to Pakistan. But to expect India not to buy Russian oil and so on and so forth, that I think is extremely stupid. To expect India not to buy Russian arms, they've been a dependable supplier. There is no way India can shift its arms supplier in one day from Russia to somebody else. Not going to happen. It is these unrealistic, unreasonable expectations from India that India basically tries to push against, and then lo and behold, you see this kind of things coming in. With Pakistan, I'm afraid we'll have to deal with Pakistan ourselves. Expecting others to handle Pakistan for us is unrealistic, and I think we can handle Pakistan.
yeah.
We can handle Pakistan. That isn't a big issue here.
But the worst part is there's so much of the criticism which comes from within the country or our own people abroad. You find a Kaushik Basu tweeting way to glory about Indian economy, but he has nothing to say what is happening in the US economy just now because of all the thing. And nobody will listen to him. That's another matter. Or even if our Nobel laureates, nobody will listen. But they will constantly do. But here, for example, this whole statement of Nirmala Sitharaman about the dollar strengthening, how people are lamponing it. And some knowledgeable people, one can understand some political spokesperson or even politicians doing it, but some knowledgeable economists, they are trying to lampoon it and every other move and statement. So that is the pity. At this juncture, everybody realizes that we are doing far better, and it's for the intelligentsia to appreciate and communicate that rather than to try and pull down the government and get excited about somebody doing push-ups on the road.
No, I agree. See, but what's happened is that these so-called great economists, in a sense, have lost their credibility. I mean, there is one guy who basically apparently gets all his data and reactions from taxi drivers. That's how people
Same
refer
guy,
to
I
him
think,
as.
right?
Same guy. And
Yeah.
a former governor of the central bank, sad. He's a great theoretical economist. He's completely lost it. And what is done is that the credibility has, I think, has been severely damaged. No serious economist in India, in a sense, would agree with any of their analysis with respect to the rupee. Nobody would. You could have some committed Marxists agreeing to them, but no serious economist would agree to their analysis of the Indian economy right now.
Yeah, I think part of it was just that they're going to fail, they're going to fail, they're going to fail, and then you have this
Yeah.
big IMF thing come up where we've overtaken the Great Britain, and then by I think about 2028 they're saying we'll be the third largest economy in the world. We're on the track to that, and immediately you had people in the West, in Great Britain, for example, saying why are we still giving India foreign aid? And we're like, you kidding me? Give us back our Kohinoor. Let's start with that. But yeah, it did rattle a lot of cages in the West, no doubt. I mean, if we expected some sort of joyful celebration or acknowledgement, we were sorely mistaken. We have a
Right.
lot of challenges, but
Look,
we're getting a
look.
lot of things
I think
right,
there are two things. There are two
in
things
the
to it.
post-COVID era that people didn't expect us to.
Look, no, I think there are two things. In the 90s, the rise of China, the rapid economic rise of China, was welcomed by the Clinton administration because people like Jiang Zemin made the right kind of noises. They thought this would be China would become more and more benign as it grew richer, etc., etc. And he
Become a
presto, the
democracy.
moment China becomes number two, you have a Xi Jinping doing a Mao Zedong looking extremely sinister. And therefore you have very shallow analysts thinking that India
Hmm.
also will do the same,
Yeah.
not appreciating the fact that it's a democratic country, a democratic regime, sometimes blundering its way forward, sometimes consciously making its way forward to do certain things, which
Hmm.
basically has pushed it on a growth path. Given the fact, because China, a party
Hmm.
communist dictatorship, after growing into what it grew into, basically did something to you. You think India will also behave in the same manner, and therefore you have no shortage of analysts who say, look, India should be taken as as a potential enemy or a potential adversary. Okay, I can, but the kind of reactions that it's got, the alarmist reactions that it's got, I compare it with the adulation China was getting in the 90s. And I am
Hmm.
completely, I can't make, can't make out
Yeah.
can't make out what hell is
Yeah.
going on. True, the
Yeah.
China was the Americans, the West's ally against the Soviet Union. Plotting the demise of the Soviet Union, be it Afghanistan, be it elsewhere. I understand that. But today, if you don't understand, a democratic India, powerful economic democratic India, will be a counterfoil to China. If you still don't understand that, when are you going to understand?
God knows. One doesn't really know. I don't. Yeah, go ahead, Sandeep.
No, no, I said maybe it's time for us to, unless there's something else you have in mind, maybe wrap
I
up
know
or
it's
we
it's
close.
it's the it's the witching hour for you, isn't it? You're ready to call it a night. I can tell you're practically asleep. We must in
No,
deference to your
And it's
yeah.
age.
getting colder in
Uh,
Punch. It's very cold in Punch.
all right,
Right.
everybody. Thank you so very much for joining us. Please do like, share, subscribe so that more people watch this show. It was great fun because there was so much happening and we missed Sunday Club this week. So I thought let's just catch up. I'd love to come back tomorrow really on the election result for the Congress. It'd be interesting to see if
That's
we're
it. Yeah.
going to see some sort of upset because we've all decided that Mr. Kharge is going to win.
He
And
will win.
he will win.
Mm.
Who knows?
Well, he will.
Maybe. I mean, according to Pallavi, the Congress Satta Bazaar is saying that
No,
Shashi Tharoor will only get 4%.
Yeah, that's consistent
let's
with
see.
Kharge winning.
So anyway,
Okay.
let's see.
All right.
Tomorrow, if we find something interesting, we should get together. All the
Reconvene.
best.
All right,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Like, share,
Bye.
Good
subscribe.
night.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.